Hey guys, welcome to the Being Sadaf podcast, first episode ever. I'm so excited you guys have joined me, and with me here, I get to announce my co-host. My co-host is my dear friend, the reason why I moved back to Houston, the funniest person alive, Syra.
So I don't think you should refer to me as a co-host because I'm more like an emotional support human. You worked very hard to get here. You're finally here. You've built up a great name for yourself, on Instagram and so forth. So I think you should be the host. I'm just here as your support.
No. This podcast cannot happen without Sud and Sai. So, thank you so much, Sarah, for being part of this. I know this was a difficult decision to make, as it is to go live on air and just be in front of a camera. So I really appreciate you coming and helping me out. This is, again, she is an emotional support friend and a very good friend of mine. And with that, I'd like to introduce our first guest ever on the Being Sadaf podcast with Sad and Sai is Sadia Jalali, a psychotherapist who's here to discuss brown issues with us.
That's what I did.
So Sadia, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, supervisor. So at the moment I have a supervisee and my own private practice. I've been doing this about 19 years now. So I've definitely grown and learned a lot about what our community's issues are. Have seen it all, actually. Well, never say that because you always see something new. But I've seen a lot. Listen to that. I've seen a lot. Just what else? What else?
So Sarah and I have a question, so I'm going to pass it on to Sarah to ask.
So we're always interested in knowing, sometimes you observe people changing their personalities according to the situation or the group they're with. Is that normal? Are we supposed to be doing that? Because it seems like Sadaf definitely is always the same person in every situation. I think I am, maybe not as much as she is, but is it normal to kind of be a chameleon?
So it is depending on the situation. So if you are maybe around elders or something else, or just like depending on kind of where you are, if it's a very like serious event, yeah, sure, you can like alter a little bit for your audience or for what's there. But your actual personality, like, if you're silly, if you're funny or for whatever, I think some of that can stem from, some level of wanting to like, just like get along, be part of the group and not stick out too much, or, just kind of wanting to belong.
I do have a question though. I've noticed that people like to be followers. They don't like to be leaders. There's very few of us, and the ones that want to be leaders, we get kind of left out and kind of like we are judged. We're told, oh, you're too outspoken, you're too this, because there's always one alpha female that everybody wants to follow. And everybody's okay with it. But people like Sarah and I, and probably even your personality, we're not so okay with that. And how do we navigate being in a society where we want our kids to have friends as well? And sometimes you may want your son to be friends with someone who may not be okay with that kind of personality. Like, I don't want to be fake, So how do you adjust?
I mean, I think that's what you're talking about, right? The last thing you said, like being fake. I think a lot of people walk around wearing a mask, and just reminds me of that old Madonna song, all the world's a stage and everyone has their part, right? Like it's like this idea, like we kind of are characters in some sort of thing, and we don't need to be. I think we're getting better about being more vulnerable and more open about things. But I think, to your point, it's so hard. It's so hard to be somebody who's kind of willing to be themselves unapologetically. Like, it's a difficult thing to do, you have to have a decent amount of confidence. You have to a decent amount of self-assuredness and self-worth. And if you don't put your self-worth in like external people's validation, you go a lot further.
But don't you think we come from a culture where our self-worth, especially for females, is put in the hands of other people.
100%. 100%. It's your parents, it's your husband, it's your whatever. It's everyone. It's everyone, but you don't get to choose how you are. They all get to tell you what you are. Absolutely, our culture does that. But I think I don't know. I feel like we're starting to really fight against that and being like, that's pretty much it.
So if, let's say for somebody who isn't young, because obviously the next generation is doing what it wants to do, but you are in the system. What tips would you give somebody who is in a system feeling that everybody else holds their self-worth? What should they be doing? What steps should they be taking to take their self-worth into their own hands?
So one thing I talk about a lot is that our self-worth is God-given. And so one, you root it in God. Like he gave you dignity in your existence. He believed in you. He believed one of you needed to exist. In the bajillions of people that are going to exist in the world, he wanted one of you to exist. So like, there's an inherent self-worth and dignity there.
Took my word.
There's like, there's an inherent dignity there, right? An inherent self-worth. So you can't, that can't be taken away. And we let people take it away, right? And so I think part of that is root yourself back in that. And that's a power, right? Like that's a certain power of if God believed one of me needed to exist, then what are you? You know what I mean? What do you have to say about it? So it's like you pull that strength from there, and then practically speaking, you just kind of set some healthy boundaries on what you're going to let people do. Yes.
So I do have a question. You brought up God. So why is it that these people lack that self-awareness of that God gave us the dignity? Now people.
That's a great question. I think we just get caught up in the dunya, in the world. We just get caught up in our lives, and we don't.
I think it's how we're raised.
I don't think we. Yeah, I don't know if we're. I don't know if we're taught that. What if somebody sat us down and told us that?
I don't know if you've dealt with so many different communities probably. So our community is very obsessed with what are people going to say?
Yeah.
Especially for women.
Log kya kenge?
Yeah. When Hassan Minaj says that, I'm like, no, you're a guy. Yeah. You get away with it.
You get a quarter, an eighth of what women
we deal with.
Yeah,
and
that's a global issue with the women. Yes, definitely.
No, and I think that's it's this rat race you have to step out of, right? It's this constant comparison. It's this constant state of keeping up for keeping up, And I think specifically for us who came from immigrants, right? That's its own microcosm of stuff, then it was who settled first and who moved to the big neighborhood because everybody probably moved into some apartment. Okay. Then it was who went to the fancy neighborhood first and then who went to the nicer school. Yeah. Then did your kid go to the cool kid school? The private school that whatever and honestly, it's seeped into our generation. Just weird because I thought we wouldn't care like that, but people do, and it's still a competition and it's still all of those things. But I mean, a lot of that, to be honest, you're not really rooted in yourself. If you weren't insecure, you wouldn't care, what if that kid went to this school and your kid went to this, it wouldn't.
So do you see
take
that
away from me?
You know, see that in other cultures or just our culture?
No, 100% in other cultures. 100.
Really?
Yes. Oh yeah. 100%. That's a human thing.
It's a human thing. Oh, that's very interesting.
We just get it. I say to some degree a little worse. We get it.
I'm really sad right now.
It's sad. I'm a little sad because I thought it was something.
It's a little worse. It's for sure.
Sorry, I can't skip cultures now. We're stuck here.
No, I think it's a human.
It is a human thing. Ooh. But, so back to just belief in God and spirituality, shouldn't we be happy for other people if we are religious or have a good belief in God? We have a little bit of a hypocrisy there because I think a lot of the people in the community do go around kind of presenting themselves as deep-rooted religious people, but then I finally forget about the basics. We should be happy for the other's child, and we should be happy that, you bought a nice house or what have you. So from a psychotherapist perspective, how does one take steps to cleanse themselves of certain feelings, sudden negative feelings?
Well, so I think, so you're talking about two different things, two things, same things, different, but I think the idea of, so to me, when you're talking about somebody who feels like outwardly religious, or, you know, you perceive that, or they project it, or whatever, that doesn't necessarily mean they really, understand some of the basics, right? Like good character. Good character means don't, you know, prep on other people's happiness, right? Don't like just be joyful for them. Like you can enjoy in their joy. They will, you know, like they will be happy with you too when you have your joys to share. So I think sometimes we think it's like a zero-sum game where it's like, oh, but if you're getting ahead, then I'm getting behind. You know, like the two don't have to match. Like you can get ahead and I can get ahead too. You know, like it's a weird, we think that one means like I'm somehow less or lower. So I think some of that's at play, right? And I think when you said taking steps, you know, I always tell, I mean, this is when I get to my kids, literally. When you're about to open Instagram, you're about to open anything, in your brain, make a literal niyya. Like, I don't want to mess with anybody. Like, let me, you know, let me look at everybody from like, oh, mashallah, like, I can want that too, but I don't want it away from them. And they can deserve it, and I can deserve it. You know, like, they both can happen. And it's not wrong. Like, you can be like, oh, that's beautiful. And, oh, I wish I had, that's okay. I don't wish they didn't have it. You can also wish, that's okay. Like, that's not necessarily nazar, because it's like, you're not taking it away. No, right? You just, oh, I would love to join. I would love to do that one day. Great. There's nothing wrong with that, you know? So like add a little mashallah, like, well yeah.
So if you have people who might not understand what nazar is, can you explain it?
So nazar is the evil eye. When we look at someone's picture and we see like a happy couple, we may feel envy or jealousy, and automatically it's an energy, right, that goes out, and it can ruin that person's relationship. So we try, that's what she's saying, that she tells her kids, which is so beautiful, and I would never even thought about that, before they open up Instagram, to make the intention that they will not give the evil eye to anybody, and they will not feel envy or jealousy when they are watching someone else's Instagram or TikToks. And that is something I never even thought of. As we can walk accident, and I do it myself. And we do accidentally do it myself. Oh man, I wish I was there. You know, you didn't think about that. Right? And you didn't mean it, but like, you know, so you're like, there's this unintentional one that comes out. So you really want to ask God to protect you from like putting those like negative vibes out there. Exactly. So not even just for the kids, like for ourselves.
No, I understand. I'm not even honest.
And I mean, kids are a lot like that. Like, oh, she has this, I want this. But you know what I mean? They easily could be like that. And
they can even be like, they don't deserve that. You know? And they can take it a step further, especially, right? And and that's something we have to kind of still guard against, you know?
There's something I noticed, going totally off topic from this beautiful topic about Instagram, and the evil eye is real, guys. Okay. I feel like I've experienced it way too many times. People look at my Instagram and think like, she has the best life ever. You have no idea what kind of life I live. It's totally fake. Instagram is fake. I'm just gonna be really honest. I say it all the time, but people never even read what I write. They just say, gorgeous picture. And I'm like, and I'm writing, like, did you read the caption? Yeah, the caption is very serious. You know, it is, but this podcast is very real. So I wanted to ask, when I moved here, I saw a little weird cult culture of mahjong. I can't even say it, okay? And I wasn't invited to a lot of these things, and I was like, and I'm really blunt. Like, I joke around, like, oh, ooh, I saw you having a party, and you did not invite me. I just joke around. And they're like, oh, well, you don't know mahjong. You need to learn it. So why do I have to learn something? Do I want to be friends with these people?
No, I think, I'm sorry, I'm jumping in. It's just a trend.
It's just a trend.
It's weird, though.
It's another trend. There's trends. Here's another trend. And some people, you know,
I don't want to be invited, but I'm just joking. What hurts I'm feeling?
No, you know what I've kind of realized? It's kind of like a what you choose to do with your time thing, right?
Yeah.
I simply don't have time for it. Like, I'm not going to learn it, and I'm not going to play it. And I don't have time. Yeah. I simply don't have the time. Like, my capacity in my life, like, doesn't have, and because I don't prioritize. If I did, I would. I don't care, you know? Yeah. So I think it's just a matter of maybe people have time and they enjoy it. Maybe it truly, like, they actually have fun with it, and it is in a trend. And then people just, it's like, why did we all, I don't know, have the buy chocolate? Because that's what we do.
I don't like Dubai chocolate.
Oh my god, I'm so Dubai chocolate now.
Are we all? Are we all? So it's just like a thing, right? It catches, people do it. It's like a whole thing.
Got it.
Maybe they have fun. Maybe it's. I don't know.
But there's some mental benefits to it.
She tells me the mental benefits.
Well, that's what they say, right? And that
Yeah.
as you age, like,
Yeah.
I think we're that old yet.
Yeah.
But, it's good. They say great training.
Yes.
I don't know. In my mind, I'm 27.
Dementia.
Exactly. I was like, I don't think we're
Yeah,
old.
yes.
Yeah.
But you have to keep it.
It's just finding the time to learn it also.
Yeah.
And I think.
Well, I mean, there's like a mahjong queen or something.
Oh, in Houston?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a thing.
Yeah, she
Hey.
actually teaches you.
Like she's like the mahjong guru. Like,
Yes.
Oh, wow.
She lives in Bel Air, and she'll come to your house and she'll teach you.
Really interesting.
Well, but I'm not interested.
No.
Sorry, no offense to you, mahjong queen.
No, mahjong is a wonderful game.
It's hard.
Without us.
I rather.
I was gonna say, I think it's just lovely without me being a part of it. I can appreciate it from afar. That's cool.
I go to my son. I'm like, teach me mahjong. Why don't you learn it? He's like, I'm not 80. And I was like,
Please. They think the way we breathe is lame. Okay. So,
I was gonna say,
So,
he can't do anything right. You're the man.
Yeah,
So.
so, yeah. You can't ask him to teach you anything.
so I think we're coming close to the end of our segment. So Sarah, what other? We have a psychotherapist here, you guys. So if we have a question.
So much knowledge, so little time. What other issues do you see? And what about the young people, like the teenagers, like in our community? Of course, and I think it makes a difference whether they're first generation or second generation born here.
Yeah.
Things are very different for somebody who's come from abroad and transplanted for their children. It's, and I always say to my husband, I'm like, that motivation that we had as first generation born here, I wish I could bottle it up and give it to my kids. I have that drive. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
So what issues do you see?
There's a few, it's a really good question because I've been thinking about this a lot lately, so it's been kind of brewing in my mind. Like, I think a few things happened. One, that if you're not first generation or you're like second or third, actually, right? They're really comfortable. They grew up a little comfortable, even if not super wealthy. They generally grew up very comfortable, right?
Yes.
They were surviving. Nor were their parents surviving, right? Maybe their grandparents were, but like they've not really seen that type of struggle, and so they haven't struggled like that, in terms of just like figuring it out, and I think a lot of moms, probably our age, did a lot more for our kids than our moms did. Like, my mom did not know any of my projects. Like, she didn't know. Like, I just did them,
Yes.
Whereas here we are,
Yeah.
cricketing, or like, doing something ridiculous, like for some like basic project, right? Like, we did, I don't know, my parents did, mine were not hands-on, like they were hands-on, but not like that. That was a different, So that's one, right? They're just, I don't want to say coddled, but like they're just comfortable and they don't have to like, everything's not as like hard in that sense, figuring out on your own all the time. Like I feel like when your parents were immigrants, you figured everything out all the time on your own because like your parents didn't go to school here, they didn't do a lot, So I think that's
you almost had to be, especially for the moms, I think, had to be a little bit of a helper for them.
Yeah.
Like
now,
Because they're figuring
meaning then even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did, but I'm saying I think it's different. Like we had still had to, there was some degree where we had to figure it out, and I feel like that's not the case now. Like we're ending up helping too much and we're like, making it too easy almost, so that's one issue. The second issue I'll tell you is that it's really interesting. So our generation, mental health didn't exist. Just wasn't a thing. It was like, you're feeling so better. Why do you feel anything at all? Why do you feel anything at all? That's not, you don't have the right to feel. You don't have the right to
have enough. You shouldn't feel anything. Yeah.
We'll write it for you.
Yeah.
I think right now there's been a pendulum shift, and it's on like swung the other way, where like our kids are like, our feelings are our facts, and it's like, your feelings are not facts. They're not. Okay, they're valid. You can have them, but that does not mean like that dictates your world, right? And I think that's kind of where they are right now, where it's like, this is gonna be too much for me. Like if they're feeling anxious about something, they're gonna be, I'm not gonna go because it feels like too much for me. what? You know, like sometimes you just have to go with it.
Yeah, you
right?
gotta
Like,
do what you gotta
we-
do.
Yeah, we just pushed through and we went. I'm not saying that was good. I'm not saying that was good. But what I'm getting at is, like, that was good, but I don't think this is good. I think they're starting to use mental health as like a crutch or like a excuse for like life being hard sometimes.
Wow.
And
So
like
hard.
life is just hard sometimes, and you're gonna have to do hard things, you know. And that's coming from a therapist. I believe in feelings, guys. I promise, you know. And I think we're doing a better job of validating for sure. But I think we're almost like going too far. Like we're gonna like let you live in your feelings, but like living in your feelings is not gonna let you be productive. You're not gonna get to do any. I think when you let your feelings control you, it's really hard to like get up and be productive.
Absolutely.
You know?
I mean, yeah.
And I feel like sometimes that's the messaging they're getting, I think, be it TikTok.
So it's not us. We're not failing. It's TikTok.
Okay, so like, I had my friend,
Yeah.
her son got in trouble at school. And she said, what happened? And he's like, my teacher said I don't have to share my feelings. And she was like, excuse me? Yeah, you do. You gotta tell me exactly what happened. He's like, no, my teacher said I don't need to share it with you. So she called the school. And she's like, we don't come from a culture like that. He needs to share. She goes, no, I
I
don't.
don't think it's a cultural thing. I think it's ridiculous that anybody was teaching a child that they should not go with their parents.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They do now. They tell them like,
that's really weird.
your feelings are your own.
They are their own, but
They are their own,
but not
but-
mine. But
Yeah.
And I was
weird.
like,
That's really weird.
I probably like ground like it.
that's very strange.
Because we're
No, I don't think it's a Texas thing. That's never happened
No,
to
no, no, it was
us.
in Ohio.
Oh, really?
Yes, it was in Ohio.
Oh, only in Ohio. What is that thing that the kids say?
Oh yeah, your friends, your kids think Ohio's like so beautiful. So
So back.
it's not. I love you, Ohio.
It's not. There's just some thing on TikTok. There was some meme. So again, like I'm trying to write a self-help book here through you. But so do you think we should push them out of their comfort zone?
100%. But not, again, maybe the way we were, which it was like, you know, shut up, you don't matter. Like, just go and live and like move on.
In a kinder way.
It's a validation. Like, we do have to validate, right? And
Yeah.
I didn't get validation growing up, you know? I don't think half women I don't get validation in their marriages. I don't think I have to be, you know, you still have to validate, right? Like, you have to say you're allowed to feel those things. I get it. It is hard. Like, I can agree with you that it's hard. But hard doesn't mean we don't do it. Hard doesn't mean like we're incapable. And I think what we as parents have to shift into is like this idea that you're capable. Like, I see your potential, you know? And so I'm not invalidating that's hard for you or that this is, you don't want to do it or it makes you uncomfortable. Like, I get that, you know, and that's really tough. But there's going to be a lot of times in life where things are going to be uncomfortable. You're going to still have to try.
So I guess we have to train them to be part of a collective as well as sticking out and being their individual selves. Now that's a really hard line to walk. It really is.
Yeah.
All right. I think we have gone past our time.
Wait.
But you know, we could talk forever, and we'll have Sadia on again to speak about other topics we have. I mean, with my son, I had no choice. He had to be pushed out of his comfort zone. He's kind of like me, where I make him do things that he doesn't like to do.
Mm-hmm.
I force him to go out of his way, and it actually makes, I think he's like an 18-year-old and a 13-year-old.
They grow from it. They grow.
They grow from it.
My kids are very similar, you know.
Yeah. And plus, he's gone through so much that
Well, I see that. I mean, I've seen him after a couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him during
throughout
the period,
yeah.
but he's exemplary. Honestly, I think you're doing a great job, and he's articulate. He's empathetic. He knows how to be polite and respectful, and his peers like him too. So, you know, everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
I just don't know what's down that road.
Yeah, maybe had he not gone through all the difficulties in his life, he would have been like a brat or something, or spoiled, and God did not choose that for him.
Yeah.
And I have to believe that. And
there's a lot of maturity that
Yes.
through difficulty.
I've always seen that.
I know.
With kids.
Maturity that goes through,
Yes.
for sure.
That's what every.
And I think what we're doing right now is we're making things really easy for all kids, and that they don't end up.
But I think Sarah does a really good job. I've seen her kids, and she's like the way our moms were. She's on them. And her husband's on them too. Like, you gotta get good grades, you're not gonna do this, you're not gonna do this. You're not gonna get this. They're not like, okay,
Like, he's in the bar so low.
We don't want that. Well, we're not their friends. I told them that very easy. And I'm like, I'm not your friend. I'm your mother.
Yeah.
And I love you and I would love to provide the world for you. But once again, I'm not your friend. I'm not going to allow you to do things that are detrimental to you.
Absolutely. And that's literally your job as their
Yes, yes. I know my job. One thing.
Yeah.
I think people are so caught up in going back to socializing that they forget that they're also a mother and they do need to parent their children at home as well.
I think you need to put this topic on the shelf for this.
This is something we're going to talk about next time because this is a long topic and we're going to have Sadia back on for this one. So for now, I want to thank Sadia so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. This was so fun.
It was so informational, and
But I feel like we're sitting in the living room.
yeah, living room, chit-chatting and learning from our friend who gives us advice all the time. But she's a really great psychotherapist. Go see her. Get her number from me. DM me. And I want to thank Sarah for co-hosting her first podcast.
Emotional.
Okay, my emotional
Human.
support human.
Yes.
Because she refuses to be a co-host, but she is my co-host. And I was really excited to announce her because this is her first time on air. And I think you've done an amazing job. I use the same words all the time. Amazing, fabulous, phenomenal. So,
So good.
I love you all. Thank you so much for joining on our first podcast.